Bryant Family Medicine, All Sports Media presents Around the Basket basketball show, and maybe I can get this music off here in a minute. And I
Crank it
absolutely
up.
did. Crank it up, John said.
Crank
I'm
it
ready.
up.
I'm absolutely ready to do a little bit of boogieing myself tonight. Of course, you heard him in the background. Other than Ryan and Edward, we are alongside John North, and I love you, and Ryan and Edward. But I will ask John North first. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's my Super Bowl week, man. I always talk about this is my Super Bowl week. With the regional tournament coming up with WYMT, it's my busiest time of year. But even with Pineville hosting this year, and it doesn't get any better than regional time.
Absolutely. Ryan, Edward, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Can't complain.
Man, I'm doing great. Got to watch, some awesome district basketball games and looking forward to seeing how the region's going to shape up.
Yeah, and you know, what a week, John, and we know what you do, and again, thank you for coming on tonight. Anybody that knows you personally know what kind of schedule that you go through, not only here through the school system, through coaching, YMT, and just, and I'm sure you got a thing called a family too, it's just, I bet you have to eat your vitamins for sure.
Yeah, I get lucky usually and get sick around that Christmas break time where there's not a lot going on. This year I did have to miss the WIMT game because I had RSV, but besides that, luckily the health is rolling. So I'll have to wait to get sick after all this is over.
Well, what a week! I mean, the district games.
Yeah.
What games did you cover during the district there, John?
Well, I worked with Brian O'Brien to do the 52nd, so I got to do the first round of the 52nd boys. So I had the Bell Harlan game and the Harlan County Middlesboro game, and then I got to call the boys championship over there. I got to see Perry County Central and Hazard for district championship. And then yesterday, this does go into the 13th region. I got to cover Union and their Appalachian Athletic Conference tournament championship. They won it. And then Pikeville won the women's respectively. So both those titles came home to Kentucky, which was pretty cool to see. But I had a crazy stat about Markel Turner, former standout there for Knox Central. His record in the AAC tournament is 14-1. That is insane.
Wow.
That's an insane stat. To go 14-1 in the AAC tournament. That is insane. That's a crazy stat.
I can only imagine that just that's the reason why we brought you on, John. I mean, that's just stuff that's deep stuff for sure. Edward, I believe you went down to OBI a couple nights, didn't you?
I did. I went down and covered, I think it was 2 or 3 games down there at the 49th district, and man, you couldn't ask for a better crowd showing up. The way that the fans treated you, the way that the AD, the coaches, I mean, and then just the court alone, man, getting to step foot on hit and see that court alone, that right there was amazing itself.
I heard the atmosphere there was insane. I heard people talk about it because it's it's kind of a smaller venue. So I heard it was crazy down there.
It was, and if I'm not mistaken, if I'm quoting this correct, I got told that they could hold up to 900 people as their max capacity, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Wow.
But it was just so loud and so packed in there that it was just so crazy to be there and witness that firsthand. That was just so amazing.
And a heck of a performance by Clay County there to bring it home. I mean, they're rolling right now, and that was a shocking score to me. I haven't seen Clay in a while. I knew they'd be playing at a different level at this time of year, but I was shocked that they kind of rolled North Laurel in that championship.
John, I believe Ryan, I think you was telling me that's 14 in a row. Plays
Yeah,
one.
14 in a row. The last loss is date back January the 23rd. I think it's that date.
just just amazing basketball. But you want me to tell you about another win streak? And by the way, folks, this is going to be our regional preview show. There's not going to be no pick'ems. Understandably so. You know what John does. He cannot get on here and do pick'ems. So we've all mutually agreed not to do pick'ems. But on their Facebook pages, we've got sort of a challenge, you know. And we were talking about win streaks, John. One thing that me and Edward both learned, we cannot beat Ryan in a pick'em challenge. He just annihilates the competition. He studies this for days. And look at this picture. When he even challenges people, he would post his face on there like, you can't beat me type look, you know.
A little smug smirk on his face.
Yeah, I mean, is that just like ringing wet with confidence? I mean,
I know. Look at Swaggy Ron.
That's the
and
only
we
picture I
challenge
had on my phone.
and we challenge these, you know, we challenge people. Just nobody stepped up yet. Edward, me and Edward, we just gave it up a long time ago.
I got you.
But do thank you for coming on for sure, and thank you for everything you've contributed to us in this new launch. And you know, it takes good people like you, Coach Shack, and Mister the whole Bible Nation. How much love that you've showed us since we've been doing this, and not just only Bible, but everybody, but you know, especially young fellers. How you help, even Steve Black in the background there, and are they the truth with this here, John? I got to post this up for you. They're wanting Steve Black on the show, and they say we can't afford it.
No, I mean his appearance fee. I've heard Union pays him upwards of $1,500 per appearance. So I don't think we ain't got that kind of change laying around. So um, I guess we just gonna have to let him comment because I don't think we can afford to bring him on.
Hopefully, he don't start charging us for his comments, because if so,
Well, if
Ryan's going.
so, listen. If so, every live stream around here is screwed because he comments on every single one of them when they're on. So if he starts sending invoices for that and like the Brian O'Brien broadcast, we're all in trouble, boys. We might as well start coughing up.
Yeah, Ryan's going to find another job for us or
Yeah,
something.
Ryan, pick up a second job because Steve's coming for his.
But let's get into a little bit, and then well, we're going to go over top 10 rankings and a player of the week, something that you know we put together here, and have a few people helping us on the vote, and then we'll get into our region preview stuff. But before we do that, I want to thank our new sponsor and good people down there, and a good little graph right here. I want to give credit to Edward for putting that together, and he's got a little bit of talent, I guess you could say. But we want to give a big shout out to our new sponsor, Bryant Family Medicine. We're officially the Bryant Family Medicine All Sports Media, and just really good people. I know my family goes there, and they've helped me out many times, sick, and helped me, my kids, and just a really good group of people down there. And I think Edward went a little overboard with these graphs. He like strutted his stuff with some of this graphic work there, John.
Yeah, I can. He was in his, as the kids say, he was in his bag there with his graphic work. Great job though, and congratulations on the sponsorship. And any business, and I say this all the time with WIMT, but any business that's invested in the kids in the community is a business that everyone should go support. And if you've got a choice, go with those businesses that had the names around the gyms and have the names around the baseball fields and the softball fields and the football fields, because you can't go wrong with putting money back in their pocket if they're giving their hard earned money so the kids can have nice things.
Well, I know Dave personally, and just he's a really good guy, and he does things for the right reasons, and he loves sports. He loves being around it, and maybe one day we'll get him on the show. He's got a busy schedule too, but just a great person, great family. I love all of them, and want to personally give Dave, you and your family, Bryant Sports Medicine. I mean, Bryant Family Medicine, just a big thank you, and thank you all for supporting us, and we'll do the best we can to promote these student athletes the very best we know how. But that being said, let's go into our first top 10 ranking, and I will again. This is I don't know. No, this might be a Ryan graph. John, I'm stuck between like two graphic geniuses, so
Mm-hmm.
they do all the work for me. So I
My Union College uh, education deal.
Yes, sir.
for people that don't know, John or Ryan or whoever wants, did you call some games or something together? One time?
Yeah, Ryan
Yep.
owes me for all his success on the show. I gave him his.
Yes, I do.
I gave him
And I
his
say it all the
start.
time.
So when he hits it big, I want some of that kickback because I invited him on some basketball, and then he covered some soccer for me. And but no, Ryan was a great hand for me at Union. I wouldn't have survived some of the days without having his help for real.
He's speechless right now, John, or he's trying to think of some clever quote to make. He might start flashing you graphs with that little smirk smile, like
And I
I
do
can
tell
still
people,
beat you.
I do tell people all the time that.
Let's go into our all sports media top 10, 13th region boys basketball rankings. I guess we'll do this into basically the we probably have one more week of this and then probably our final ranking. But at one is Harlan County. At two is the Red Hot Clay County Tigers. Number three, Corbin. Four, Knox. Five, North Laurel. Six, Bell County. Seven, Pineville. Eight, North Laurel. Nine, Whitley. And I believe number 10 down there hidden is Williamsburg. John, Edward, or Rod, whoever want to say anything about it? Agree, disagree, wrong, right?
I'll go first. Your top three there, I think is pretty at this point maybe pretty solidified. Um, that being said, I may bump Bell County up personally to number four. I mean they got a running clock put on them by Harlan County, but let's face it, there's a lot of teams in the region that are really good that would have the same happen to them if they're clicking on all cylinders. So I would probably flip flop Knox and Bell County, and that looks about right to me, honestly.
Edward, Ryan?
Yeah,
I will say, go ahead, Edwin. I was going to say there is a typo on Dale.
Which
supposed to
one
be
is
And,
the
yeah,
South Laurel? Which one is South?
and yes, we got two North Laurels on there.
I'll, I'll, I've got the picture of what it should be. Edward, go ahead while I figure it out here.
but I was getting ready to say that I do agree with John, and going as far as Harlan County for them to get knocked down from the one spot. You have to beat them to be able to take that seed. And Clay County being on just an absolute roll like they're doing right now, and region right around the corner. A lot of these teams are going to be colliding against each other. So I think it's kind of spot on. I'd flip flop one or two of them, but other than that, I think it's pretty good.
I believe Ryan South was five, North was eight.
Yeah,
Am I right?
that's correct. It was a typo by me.
Yeah, South was
I,
our
I did.
fifth, North was our eighth. But I'm with John. I think the top three is pretty cemented. But Clay County's on fire right now, folks. Watch out for them Tigers. Uh, now it goes to our Bright Family Medicine All Sports Media Boys Player of the Week graphic made by you know who and the man himself, Trent Noah, 63 points, 22 rebounds, 31 and a half points per game, 11 rebounds per game. This is during two games. Wow.
I
I,
think it's safe to say, Mark, with Trent Noah, he's the real deal, and he's been the real deal. I'm now to the point where when good kids are coming out of the 13th region after what Reed Shepherd has done at Kentucky, I said this on air the other night, but I think Trick Noah is not going to South Carolina to sit the bench. I think he's going to go contribute in his freshman year. He's a gym rat. He lives in the gym like all the great players in the 13th, but he's in there 7 days a week. He's prepared himself now. And I tell you, one of the coldest shots in this whole thing was Harlan County was a 3 away from putting a running clock on Bell County, and he walks it over half court. He looks up at the clock and pulls it from the volleyball line and drains the 3 to send it into a running clock in the third. And that's the type of player he is. He wants that moment where he can put the dagger in you. And man, he has impressed me this year with the jump that he's gotten every bit better from his junior year. And he's going to be a threat at the next level. I'll tell you that.
Ryan or Edward?
I agree with what John's saying 100%, because not even just this 2-game stretch, but you go back and look from the very first game. I mean, he's just been doing this night in, night out. And like he said, when you talk to him or you see him, he's there at, an hour early, done putting up shots, done getting his workout in.
Yep.
He lives in the gym. He's there before school, after school, before practice. He stays after practice. So, I mean, that shows you the dedication that this young man has. And I agree with John. I don't think he's going to South Carolina to sit on the bench. I do believe he's going to contribute in his freshman season also.
Yeah, and I agree with both of y'all that the way he's putting up numbers and against the people that he's playing against. I mean, just take a look at that schedule. I mean, they're playing teams out of a big-time Louisville tournament during Christmas and beating them handily with it. And the way he did it at the Bristol tournament there against teams out of state, he's the real deal, and it's going to be fun to watch him play at South Carolina.
John, we got a question here. Do you think Ryan could beat his sister Morgan 1-on-1?
No shot. He ain't mean enough. He ain't mean enough on the court. I got to cover Morgan at Union, and she's too tough for Ryan. I tell you that right. Too tough for me too. By the way, I'd lose to her as well. But she's a tough player, and she was in the faculty staff game last year too, and she's still the same player. So, or faculty student game. Ryan, I'm sorry, you ain't got a shot.
No, John, but I would hit it myself.
Let's go into our Bryant Family Medicine All Sports Media Top 10 13th rated girls basketball rankings. I think this is a Ryan graphic. I don't know. I can't keep up with them. They make so many graphics, but they both are really good at what they do. At 1, North Laurel. At 2, Corbin. 3, Knox Central. 4, Pineville. And it looks like a tie at the 4th spot between Pineville and Bell County. 6 at South Laurel. 7, Jackson County. 8, Harlan. 9, Harlan County. And number 10, Whitley County. And I look at this, John, honestly, I could look at this list and it's a real good list, but even in there, when we go talk about the region tournament, and I believe I asked you the question, is this the most wide open this girls tournament's been? From top to bottom, I think every one of these teams are really, really close.
Well, I'm going to have a semi-hot take here, boys. Knox Central is the best girls team going into this regional tournament. They're playing hot. They've got all the right pieces. They've knocked off North Laurel this season, and they came within 10 points of beating them without Hallie Collins in the first place. I'm putting Knox as my number 1 team. I may put North or Corbin. You can flip flop them at 2 and 3, but I think Knox Central's the favorite going into the girls' side. And outside of that, I'd probably flip flop Jackson County and Harlan. I think Harlan has the ability in this regional tournament to be the story that Jackson County has been these last 2 years. They are also playing very hot. I thought that they were going to get Bell County in that championship. That's how good they're playing. and they got a pretty decent draw to do so to pull an upset. I think.
I agree with what John's saying. I've watched Harlan play from the beginning of the early in the season till just recent, and you can see that everything has come together for them. And they're going to be one of them teams that if anybody was to overlook them, and it's regional time, nobody should. But if they do, they're easily going to pull that win out because they're going to be a tough out for anybody. And just like he said, Knox Central, they are coming in hot, but that defense that North Laurel has been running here of recent, that's going to be hard for any team to be able to try to get to the basket. So they're forcing people to become shooters.
Ryan.
Yeah, I look at it. This is a wide open tournament. It was hard for me personally to try to pick a top 10 because of how strong the region is. But I'm going back to what y'all saying about Knox. They got the favorable draw in the region to possibly make it to Saturday night's championship game the way they're playing. So, it's going to be a fun little tournament. And on that other side, I believe whoever wins that North Florida and whoever wins that Bell County South Florida game is going to be will be in that championship game. Without giving away my picks and everything like that Mark will show later on here. But it's going to be a fun little tournament to be at.
But that being said, our Bryant Family Medicine All Sports Media Girls Player of the Week. Accidentally click it. We already see who it was. Gracie Joe Wilder, 47 points, 14 rebounds, 23.5 points per game, 7 rebounds per game. Again, a 2-game stretch. Wow.
Yeah, just a multi-talented. She can do it all. And that's the reason why she's going to go play at the next level as well. She's a freak athlete. She can give you problems defensively. And with a hot tournament, she could carry Bell, as Ryan said, kind of that final game. And the last 2 years at the arena, it has not ended well for Bell County. And I know that's probably not set well with them, and that's probably been a motivator all season long. Is to can we get back to that moment and make up? Because Jackson County spoiled the party 2 years ago. Jackson County got hot again, and it was basically the same game as we saw the previous year. But you get a motivated Gracie Joe, and you get a motivated Bell County team, and it could be trouble. But it starts with her. She's got to be the best player on the floor, and she has the capability to be the best player on the floor in every game they play.
John, are you a believer in maybe a team having somebody's number, or do you just think Jackson County likes the arena?
That gets in your head. It really does. As I coach young players, and sometimes that name on the front of the uniform it means about 6 to 8 extra points because whether the rivalries are involved, and I think a couple of shots last year go down for Jackson County, and Bell County's probably like, oh no, here we go again. And that probably if I think about, I called both those games. I can't in my head differentiate the two games because of how similar they were and the blueprint that Jackson County used to beat that Bell County team. But, this year they stayed away from Bell County. I think that top half of the bracket that they absolutely, if Gracie Joe gets hot, that they could go to the finals.
Edward.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I've got to cover Gracie Joe quite a bit these last couple of years. And, not just talking about the region tournament, but the way that she performs when she gets hot and she's on. I have to honestly say that I've not really seen anybody capable of slowing her down when she's on her A game and she's super motivated. And, I have to agree when you have that motivated Gracie Joe and then you get Lauren McGeorge coming in motivated, that whole team has the capability of making that deep run and winning region. They just gotta, what's the word that Mark likes to say? Get that that monkey off their shoulder for that first round. Seeing Jackson County every the last couple seasons, but this year
And
they got a different.
yeah, and like no other team besides North has a Kyrie Lamb. That makes a big difference. Uh, Kyrie's an extremely great player, but she's also a post presence that other teams are not going to be able to give you. And that's what makes the matchups good too, because they have a solid big in there that can swat shots, and she's talented around the basket, can shoot the free throw. So, Bell County has been up and down all season long, but they could be poised for a postseason run here.
Now, I have to agree with you 100% because having a Kyrie Lamb out there, somebody that can easily rip you down 14 rebounds and put you up 20 points, along with you from the graph you can see what Gracie can do. So that's about guaranteed 40+ points a game just out of two players. So that makes them a tough matchup for anybody.
Ryan, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with both of y'all. I mean, I think going in, it's going to be a very, very motivated Bell County team. With it being Gracie Joe's senior year and not wanting to go out in the first round. But I think this is going to be where they go in and say, we're not looking in the past, it's going to be now. And they got a tough opponent in South Florida coming up. But I think they'll pose to do it. They just have to not let that atmosphere in that arena make it where they are so nervous and everything, because we all know that arena is big. So, I mean, you just got to think, don't ignore how big it is to play basketball.
Absolutely. And before we go into what we are having the show for our region preview, we're going to post these up. And again, I said it earlier in the show, we will not be doing a pick 'em segment, and understandably why. But we're going to be previewing the games. That's the reason why we asked Sean to come on tonight. And, John knows these teams better than anybody. John's covered them all year, and John makes us sound a little bit better anyway. Because about all I can do is read off stats.
Well, Mark, some of the talking heads around the region like to talk to coaches and act like they've been in the gym all season long when they haven't, and think that they call the shots. But I have seen all these teams. I've been in gyms with all these teams, and I like to think that I have a pretty good grasp. But again, it all comes down, and a big reason why you don't want to do pick'ems either, because at this time of year we've seen some crazy upsets, and
Yeah.
we're not Stephen A. Smith or anything, so I don't think anyone particularly cares who we pick anyway, unless they just want to rub it in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. John, that's the reason why we love you. And again, thank you for real. I mean, behind the scenes, folks, you do not know how much we pestered this guy, and each and every time, yeah, sure, I'll help you. I'll help you. We've had that. He knows he's just being humble right now, but again, he knows we love him, and we thank him for everything he's did, for sure. But before we start our region preview, again, Ryan does it again. He challenges anybody on their pages with that grin to beat him. He's like, bring it. We didn't even announce what we would even give the winner because we already know Ryan's going to win this. So we just call it the Ryan Pick'em Challenge. He's going to be, after this Pick'em Challenge, he's still going to be posting that picture for the rest of the year on that basket. Somebody beat him. Maybe we can stop the smile or something. Maybe we could.
I like the hashtag stop the smirk. Stop the smirk.
Stop the smirk. Somebody finally beat him on a challenge, but he good at what he does. I mean, he smoked me each and every time, so I gave up a long time ago. Edward still tries every now and then, though.
I normally fall short, but I think Ryan cheats. I think he bribes both coaches.
Yeah,
Tells him he'll bring him some chicken from work or something.
So John, does Ryan know people in high places and get these?
Oh, yeah, Ryan's always networking. You know, he's always out there hustling and getting the information, getting the So he's your Adam Scheffner of the 13th region. He's out there getting all the stories.
Yeah. See, we've already got the hashtag started. Stop the
Stop the
smirk.
smirk. Knock him off,
I know,
somebody.
I
Somebody
know who
beat
posted
him.
that. I can see that. I can see that on my tablet here. That was Steve Black.
Somebody beat him. Hey, the way to quiet somebody down is to beat them, right, John?
That's right. That is
You
right.
know,
That is right.
take that smirk off. But let's jump into it then. Let's go boys first if you just want to. Let's go into our 13th region games. Of course, it's a region, and I think this is a Edward graph here, and man, they're talented, John. They talented at what they do. We got. I believe this is the correct order, right, Edward? On when
Yes.
they're played. Okay. So we got Knox Central, North Laurel, Corbin, and Bell County. This is boys. Harlan County, South Laurel, Clay County, Pineville. When I look at this, and again, we're not picking. If anybody wants to know that, North Laurel, a rebuild year for them. I guess we could sit here and honestly say it was a rebuild or reload, however you want to call it, with North Laurel. Um, they did better than probably most people would have thought at the beginning of the year, and playing really really good solid basketball. Um, Honestly, John, the Clay County game sort of caught my attention a little bit. Um, but that shows you how good Clay County is playing at this point. Um, Corbin Bell, I think that's going to be a good old fashioned slobber knocker. I mean, I really like both of them teams. I like how they're coached. I really like that matchup right there. I think that is one of the most evenest matchups we might have in the first round. Harlan County, I will not take nothing away from South Florida, the South Florida program. Harlan County's next level. Trent Noah, and that's going to be a really really tough matchup for South. Starting it out, but that's the reason why we play the game. And Clay County Pineville, I think, is absolutely going to be a war. I, I heard I didn't get to watch the Pineville game, but I had some folks to tell me how that ended in the district championship. Must have been complete heartbreak. And uh, John, I've always asked folks, what's harder to come back from, a emotional win or just a heartbreaking loss? Which one's the hardest in your eyes to come back from?
Well, I definitely think it's situational. If Pineville had won the district last year and hadn't lost the way that they lost, I don't think this one hurts as bad. But this is 2 years in a row where Pineville, Brad Levy should have two districts right now, right at
Absolutely,
Pineville.
absolutely.
But Barville hits a buzzer beater, knocks them off, and then this year buzzer beater just don't fall for Sawyer, and that's heartbreaking. So that's a challenge as a coach. But I'll tell you, if I'm Pineville, I probably don't mind a matchup with Clay County. I know Clay County earlier in the season came down to Pineville, and Pineville had the lead in that game in the third quarter. So while Clay County may not be the Clay County that they were then, if I'm Pineville, I'm saying, guys, we had them in our hand in the third quarter of that game, and it kind of got away from us in the fourth. And so they're going to believe. And when you got two dynamic scorers that believe, along with their team, then you could. That's not a great matchup, I don't think, for Clay County there in the first round. But going back to your question, sorry, I just like to yap. But yeah, I think it is harder in this case to come back from two tough losses, if you will, in a row, in both districts.
Well, look at that region set up right there. I mean, and again, I know you're not picking, but what's your thoughts about just
So
this setup here?
I'll tell you, going before this draw came out, and I think I manifested it. I thought that the recipe to upset Harlan County would be give them South Laurel in the first round because South Laurel is physical, they defend well, and you're going to know you played them the next game. So South Laurel obviously is going to want to keep that low. I said give them South Laurel in the first round, and then give them Clay County in the semis. And that's exactly what happened. If Clay County can obviously get by Pineville. But I think you're going to have to get Harlan County in the semis if you're going to beat them. You get Trent Noah in a championship, I don't think he's going to be denied, personally. And then top half of the bracket, I mean, I think this is as wide open, and this is what I was saying. You get whatever side that Harlan County is on, that opposite side is going to be wide open. And I think you highlighted it, but that matchup between Corbin and Bell County, that's going to be a banger. Like that's going to be a really good game. Bell County's both those teams are capable to go to a championship out of that bracket. And then of course you got the storyline in that first matchup between Knox Central and North Laurel, where as we know, Chadwell won a region with North Laurel, hopped back to Knox Central this year. And Chadwell's a player that I think somehow this year has flown under the radar. Not a lot of people have talked about him. And he is the type of player that can absolutely get you to a district championship with his play. If he gets the matchup and gets hot, like he can take you to a district championship. So, go ahead.
Is this the best Gavin's played?
It might be. It really might be. And thinking, he's got a young core around him. He talked about how they practice kind of with him in foul trouble, even in practice, to let those young guys have some run, and I think it's paid off. But he's going to have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, I think, going against his former school. I think all four of those teams, you got to believe that you got a good chance of going and playing for a championship on March 11th.
Edward.
Yeah, I agree with what both of you has been saying. You're going to have to get Harlan County in the semis or first round to beat them out.
Yeah,
because I think if they make it, because I believe if they make it to the semifinals or the finals, either one, Trent, Maddox, that them young men are not going to be denied that championship. That they will make it happen. But looking at it, the Clay County Pineville game, just like you said, as long as Pineville comes in with that mentality that we had the game, and they had the game in the third quarter, and even though Clay's not the same team, you've still got Sawyer Thompson, Ashton Moser on the other side of the court that they have to figure out how to answer to also. So those two young men are going to be hard matchups for any team. And, I agree with the Corbin Bell County. I believe that one's just going to be an absolute war of a game. And North Laurel, Knox Central, North Laurel's came a long way from the beginning of the season, so they're starting to get all their pieces put together. But for them also, you have Gavin Chadwell on the opposite side that you have to look at and figure out a way to contain, because he's on a whole nother level himself. So, the way it's matched up, it's wide open on one side, and the other side, you just got to hope and pray you can wear one team down.
Yeah, I think as far as like the bracket goes, I think that Corbin Bell County is going to be between the girls and boys. Just like I said, the Harlan County and Harlan girls in the district was going to be the best game, which it almost ended up being. I think that's going to be your first round game. If you're looking for a night to come and just take it in as a bystander, I think you come that night and watch that game. Bell County lost to Corbin at Corbin back on February 27th or 22nd. It was a good game, 52-39. So they want probably want a little revenge there, and Coach Sizemore has done a lot more with a lot less. So he's gonna have a chip on his shoulder headed into that game as well.
Ryan.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. That bottom half of that bracket is absolutely loaded.
Yeah.
Three of the four teams. You basically say all four teams have legitimate shots of making it to March the 11th. And then you might as well say the whole tournament's that way because, there's some young, talk about Bell County, Dale. They don't have a senior on the team, so they're going to get that much better playing in this regional tournament and learning from it and being better, a whole lot more better next year with what they pieces that they've got. So it's gonna be a fun tournament. If you don't run your A game, you could be going home early in the first round.
Yeah, you're right, Rod. That bottom half of the bracket is star studded. If you just look across all of their rosters, if you were doing a 13th region All Star game, you might fill it out with just those 4 teams that are, and that's nothing against anybody else, but you may fill it out with those 4 teams with how good everybody is on that team, and a couple of top 50 scores on each roster, I believe. So that's going to be a star studded. That's going to be a star studded night.
John, you've been in that arena several times. I'm not going to say many years. I'm not going to make you out to be old or anything
Oh
like
gosh,
that.
I guess since like 2014, I think, maybe like 10 years now.
So how big of a difference is it to them players in that environment, in that arena, from their regular gyms?
Oh, it's big. It's big. The sight lines are much different with how you're shooting. It's tougher to shoot up there, which is why I think you see lower scoring games, which favors teams like a South Laurel, I think, and favors teams like Corbin. And something I always talk about was, if you watch a team at their home gym, okay, they'll start their offense inside that volleyball line. Well, at the arena, and you watch it, it'll be the same this week. Teams start their offense way too far out on the floor, just because the gym is so big and they don't realize that the scaling of their floor compared to the 13th region. And so, that's why offenses don't look as much in sync, and it kind of starts coming together as the season or as the tournament goes on. But it's tougher to shoot. They start their offense a little too far out on the floor because it's so big. And I also think that teams get baited into shooting that NBA range 3 because it's out there on the floor. And so teams take further 3-pointers back than they're used to taking. And so the 3-point percentage kind of tanks too. But I do like having it at the arena because I think it does prepare you for a RUP atmosphere, because RUP's going to be the same way, when you go there and play.
So, before we get on the girls bracket, they are a question that's been asked and been drug around. Are you in favor of the arena? Are you in favor of going back to the gyms? Or do you have any one way or the other? Are you good with the arena, or would you like to see it at Harlan and Pineville and all these other places again?
I'm not big. Okay, I'm very I don't like to be down the middle on this, but I have to be down the middle on this.
Yeah.
Because of my 2 ways of thinking. If I'm thinking logistically, LMU would be cool. Yeah. If I'm thinking logistically, it has to be at the arena or a type of arena because every school benefits from the money that is generated for the regional tournament in the 13th. The most money that you're going to make is through the arena, period. Okay, there's no other school that can compare with that. Maybe Harlan County, if they're lucky. Okay. As far as atmospheres go, obviously you want it at a high school, obviously. But if you can look at me and say, well, I saw media complaining about how small Oneida is, right? If you can look at me and say, okay, well, Oneida can host 2, Redbird can host 2, and along with their other big schools, then okay. But people don't do that. They'll be like, well, it's too small to host there, so they got to host it somewhere else. And that's not fair to the other schools. So I think at the end of the day, you got to have it at the arena. And I would, and too, there's been some really big moments in that gym that has been loud. It's been fun. And I know it's not everybody's cup of tea with the crowd being so far off the floor, but it's still good atmosphere. I still think it feels, like a big thing to the kids to come out there on the arena floor. And even some of them may not like it, and some of them do like it. But I think just logistically, you can't beat the arena and the facilities. the parking. You don't have to do multiple. You don't have to do multiple sessions. All you got to do is just show up. You can watch your games that night, and then you're going home. You don't have to stand outside in the weather or when it's cold, if it's raining, to switch in to go back in. Everybody gets a parking spot. You don't got to park all the way, down a street somewhere. So at the end of the day, if you're going to ask me, I believe it should remain at the arena, except for your atmospheres. Obviously, you're going to lose out on that. But as far as bettering the student athlete experience, you got to have it at the arena.
Ryan or Avery, got any more thoughts about this before we jump into the girls'
Well,
side of the bracket?
yeah, I mean, I agree with what John's saying. I mean, I remember when it was at the high school, my year, I think year after I graduated, when they moved it back to the arena. I mean, I like the packed inside of the gym. It's loud. You can't even hear yourself think. But at the same time, it gets other schools, like these small all-A schools that don't have a big capacity gym, to give the chance of hosting a regional tournament. So, I mean, I'm 50-50 on it, but I kind of like the big atmosphere.
Yeah, I have to agree with what Brian and John's both saying. Atmosphere wise, it's better at the school in their gym, but for the benefiting to the other smaller schools, the arena is great. But Mr. Robert Daniels put up our most recent comment, and that's something that I would like to see myself. I'd like to see it at LMU sometime because I think that would be kind of an amazing thing to happen also. But, the arena to me helps benefit the schools a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. A big shout out to Mr. Daniels and all of our viewers. Viewers has been really, really good tonight. Thank you for
Some
giving
would
us
say
your
record
time.
breaking, Mark.
Record breaking.
Record breaking views tonight.
Crazy. I'm looking at my stats, and we've got 500 people on. That's nuts on
Yeah.
my thing here.
Yeah, we're actually doing really, really good right now. John, we need to start bringing you on more often, or maybe I would say start combing my hair, but I don't have no hair or something. But yeah, thank you for all the views tonight, and again, thank you to Bryant Family Medicine for sponsoring us, and good people like that gives us opportunity to be able to do a little bit more, for what we're wanting to do about promoting, and good people like that. It takes a group effort, I guess, to keep John North equals rate. That's right, though. We're gonna have to maybe we'll have to.
I hope WYMT would say. I hope WYMT says that. I don't know though. I don't know how many people tune into those.
Well, next time we're gonna bribe John with like a meal or something. I'm
Oh,
gonna
okay.
cook some beans and some cornbread, fried some taters. I'm sure John would like good kilo of beans and breads, fried
Yeah,
taters.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell y'all, everybody, John came out with the hot bar deal yesterday. He came on the way to Kingsport to get breakfast from the hot bar.
Well, does Ryan make the good stuff over there? He says he makes the best food around.
I had some bacon and sausage and a Starbucks coffee on my way down to Kingsport, and it was very, very. I don't think Ryan was in the best of moods that morning, but I tried to cheer him up a little bit, and I bought some food off of him, and it was very good.
It's John. I'm gonna try to get you out of trouble here. It says if John don't give Sam a shout out and his middle school volleyball team, he's going to be in the doghouse. John and Sam have a dang good middle school volleyball team.
Yeah. Well, hey, he is right because every time I have a broadcast, Sam picks up the slack on the girls, and I do appreciate that because she does indeed, want me to follow my dream and be able to do sports broadcasts, and I couldn't do both. I can't be in two places, but they're very good. I think we won 5 in a row, and we were able to beat Whitley County last weekend, which is as you guys know, I mean that's your volleyball regional champs there. They've got some girls that play up, and for us to go beat them and go 5-0 this week is pretty special. But I think Sam texted me last night and said that she is currently 4-0 without me. So She made sure to let me hear about it, but yeah, nobody gets mad at her. She doesn't get mad at me, but the girls get extremely mad at me when I have to go to WYMT. They don't they don't care. They just want me to be at the game. So, but yeah, the good team, man, and we hope that we can hang another banner for the All A 13th region this year.
Hopefully we could get down there in a few weeks. So we ain't making no announcements yet, but hopefully we get down there in a few weeks and get to cover that volleyball team, and it'd be a pleasure, to be able to do that. And I can't speak a lick right now, but I'm sort of excited to go down there and see them and just watch you in action there a little bit.
Well, I get a little fired up on the sideline, Mark. I'm very passionate, and I'm my girls. They know I hold them to a high standard, and I have to kind of get on them sometimes. But they take it, and they take coaching well, and I'm the first one there to cheer for them when they make a big play on the sideline.
Absolutely. So let's jump into our girls bracket and just like the boys side of things, these matchups are just crazy good and John Ryan Edward, I'm sure you agree. It just shows not only on the boys side, but the talent that we've got on both sides, boys and girls, just unreal. I'd put our 13th region all star teams against anybody in the state, boys or girls. I mean, we just loaded with talent. But starting it off is North Laurel and Pineville, Bell County and South Laurel, then Knox Central, Harlan, Corbin, Jackson County. Talking about um, Mike Tyson versus Vander Holt. I mean, just the heavyweight fight right off the beginning. If that's the first game the girls draw, I mean, wow, North and Pineville right off the gate. And then you follow that up, Bell and South, and man, that top. Well, I'm not going to say all the power to the top because then you look at the next four, but the top section right there, North Pineville, Bell, South. What can you say about that? That's the that's a hard draw for any of them teams right there. Then of course, and I agree with John. At this point, who's playing better than Knox Central? And we know Hallie Collins, how good she is, and Harlan, when Harlan County played, maybe opened a little eyes there. Uh, that was one I had wrong, and that's one thing I'm good at, missing a few every now and then. But I thought Harlan County would come out of that, but I guess that's the reason why we play the game. And then Corbin, Jackson County, and John, maybe you could help me with this, but and you spoke about it earlier. Had it been Jackson County's been really really good against Bell County, but then sort of with the North Laurel, South Laurel Corbins not being as good. Is that uh, a good statement or a right statement or am I
Well, I mean,
off base there?
Jackson County was able to put a upset up on Corbin last year.
Okay.
In that girls tournament. So I just think it comes to Coach Tyra just always has a great game plan for the region and whoever she goes against. The kids play absolutely fearless for her. They don't flinch at any name on the front of the uniform, and I think that's probably half the battle. They haven't looked scared these last couple years out, and I know they're down a player this year, but
Yeah.
they're I think Shannon, with her injury, but I mean they're still going to come out and try to punch you in the mouth. And Abby Gilbert by herself is no slouch, and I'll say for the whole entire 13th region girls tournament, there's only one other way that you could have shook it up that I would have probably liked this first round a little more, and that's if you flip flop South Laurel and Pineville. If you flip flop those two, I think it's the
Oh
absolute
yeah.
perfect draw that you could have because you've got Bell County and Pineville who
Yeah.
don't play each other, and you got North South, and you got that rivalry too. So that's the only thing I would do different on this bracket. But besides that, I just think it's just a chef's kiss of a draw for these teams.
Um, you know, going back to Jackson County, they lost a great one last year, graduation. I I figured that they would be good, but I mean that shows you sort of what they've built down there. You know that
Yeah.
the it's not just a one hit wonder, Jackson County,
No,
and anymore.
no, it's not. And I'm sure at this juncture in the year, they know what they're going to do without Shannon, and they're, and you got that storyline with Corbin where they met Corbin after that run and lost to him, and then they upset him last year. And then you got up above that, you got a Knox Central team that's coming in hot. But if I'm Harlan, I'm looking at this bracket and saying, hey, that's the team we wanted, because with win and no, we know we've got the athletes to match up with Hallie Collins. We only lost to him, I think, by single digits earlier in the year. So they're believing right now, and that's probably the best first round matchup for them. Bell County South Laurel is obviously another great girls matchup. And then if I'm North Laurel, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, hey, I would have rather played. I know North Laurel has a big win against Pineville this season, but I would not want to go against the three-headed monster of Howard, Arnett, and Johnson in the first round, because those are three players that could theoretically put up 20 each on you if you're not careful.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm thankful we got you on the show tonight, John. Because I wasn't even looking at that flip flop you was talking about, but that would
Yeah,
almost
yeah,
seem
I
like
really it would have been just so perfect had that flip flopped, and I think you would have gotten that night at the arena for the girls may have broken like first round records if you would have got those two.
yeah. I mean, wow, Edward Ryan.
I have to kind of agree. I didn't really pay attention to the flip flop either until he just mentioned it. But that arena would be packed. I could guarantee you that it would be standing room only if possible in there. But I agree with what you said. If you're Harlan, that's the match that you wanted right out the gate, because you can match up, with Knox Central extremely well with knowing Win in there, and then you got Owens that can run the point for you and easily drop 20 a night too for you. The Jackson County Corbin game, that's kind of one of the ones that I can see actually being a absolute war that everybody's probably thinking it's going to be a little bit more one sided than what it's actually going to be. And I agree. North Laurel, that you didn't want to draw Pineville right out the gate, because you did play them earlier in the earlier, but that hasn't been but a couple weeks ago. So Pineville still got adjusted to kind of what they do. So that's going to be a tough matchup. And the Bell County South Laurel, I can see that one being a war also.
Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I can see all four games in the first round being absolute wars. That, I mean, like I said earlier, if you don't burn your A game, you easily could be going home after the first night or whatever. But I, I, I pay no attention whatsoever to if the flip flop deal. I mean, I would have loved to be in that gym if that game
Yeah,
would have been flip
how
flop
could you? I
deal.
was watching the draw. Brown O'Brien did the draw live, and when I saw when I saw Bell County flip opposite, I don't remember who drew. I think Knox Central drew first, so it was the 51st, and then it was the 52nd. So when Knox Central and Bell County drew opposite each other, I knew Pineville had a shot to play Bell County. And then North had a chance to play South, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that first night at the girls would be crazy." But not the way it goes, and still two really good first round games. I mean, Bell and South are about as even, I think, as you can be at this point in the year, and either of those teams can walk away from that, and then Pineville will have to pull the big upset on the very first night. If that's if you want to get them, that's the time to get them. First game, everyone's got those jitters. It's all about it's all about effort and attitude at that point.
Realistically, John, I don't know if you agree or disagree with me, but looking at them 8 teams, realistically, you can give an argument about any one of them coming out as region champions.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Just if you look at at the rosters and what teams are averaging and the star players on each roster, there's not a lot of separation. You could go in and look at individual matchups in the season and decipher it a little bit, but each of those teams have starts, and I've said it throughout the year. I think women's basketball and girls basketball as a whole is trending to a much more fun style than boys and men's basketball is. And I think part of that is because of the Caitlin Clark effect and the star power that women's basketball has right now. But I think this draw and this tournament is going to showcase girls basketball in our region just far, far and away. It's going to blow it out of the water.
Um, good stuff. Good stuff for sure. And, do want to thank you all for your time. But John, give us maybe a cap on maybe what your schedule is for this week, because I know you're going to probably have one monster of a schedule for this week.
Well, I'm thanking my lucky stars that Harlan County and Pineville did not draw each other on the boys' side because that would have put me and Eugene in a pickle. Eugene is the athletic director at Harlan County. He likes to stay off of Harlan games, and I've asked this year if I can stay off of Pineville games so I can kind of enjoy it with the students, and we're working it this year, so I kind of want to be in the crowd and around and not having to work. So I do have tomorrow night off. I would expect to work. I haven't got my schedule yet. I would say I'm going to be doing both on Tuesday, both on Wednesday, and then probably Thursday off again because Pineville plays in that maybe 1-1 in that Thursday. I don't know, but I won't be on the Pineville Clay game. And then I would say I'm on the rest of the way there, depending, and that won't even depend on what happens. But I'd say I'm on the rest of the way.
Any plans on after the region, maybe going to state, or is that just too far ahead looking into it? Or
Normally, well, WYMT doesn't. We don't broadcast any of it, so I definitely won't be going to work unless the radio station tosses an invite out. I may, I've kind of flirted with that before, but I guess after this, my next gig, I'm doing the Appalachian Athletic Conference softball championships down in Kingsport. At the end of April into May. So that'll be fun. But yeah, this is kind of when my broadcasting season comes to an end, is after this week. And no better tournament in the state that I'd like to cover it than the 13th. It's special. It always have a special place in my heart. And it's always, as far as the mountains go, 13th region is by far the best.
I know you coach volleyball, and I know you love all sports. But are there one that maybe you might prefer over the other? Or you just love them all equally?
So I would say to you, it would have been basketball for a long time. Basketball is my first love. I played over at Redbird under John D. Wilson, and I take immense pride in playing for Coach Wilson. He was a big reason why I have some of the I believe character wise of things I believe is because of what John D. instilled in me, and the hard work that he instilled in me too. But I gotta say, man, volleyball has just it's just kind of the bug. It bit me when I was in college and I was covering for Coach Jeremy Wise. And now that I coach it, man, I could not see myself coaching basketball now. And I grew up wanting to do that. I grew up wanting to be a coach in the 13th region. And now I just and part of it is, man, I get to coach with my wife, and I love it. It's one of the greatest joys of my life. It's coaching with her. It really is. And so I would say volleyball it gets that nod now, man. But as far as like play-by-play goes, basketball is always going to be like king for me. I love doing basketball. I love doing soccer. And then probably like softball, and then probably like volleyball, and then probably whatever number like 12 is football. I do not like doing football. I do it, but I don't like doing it.
I agree with you. It's something about volleyball. It is a bug. Once you start covering it, watching it more, it just somebody said lacrosse.
I've done lacrosse. It is fun, but I don't know enough about it to do it. But I have broadcasted lacrosse before. I've also broadcasted wrestling, like professional wrestling, and I've also broadcasted swimming before. So I've kind of done it. I've kind of done it all at this point.
Well, you're definitely going to have to coach us up on a few sports upcoming. I think we've already begged you about that already.
I got you.
But Ryan, I will let you start off. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing in the morning times, and just closing thoughts, or if you want to talk any more about the region, the floor is yours, my man.
Yeah, back to the lacrosse comment, and I'll get to what I do in the morning times in just a second. Me and John Northhill did the first ever Union College men's lacrosse game at Union, which was my senior year down there. Well, it was a very fun experience. I'll admit I knew nothing about it. I had to do a lot of research about it, but it was actually fun just to be kind of doing another sport that really wasn't around, and it was kind of really fun to watch. But I will go into what I do in the morning times. Starting Tuesday, since there's no games tonight, uh, I will go live in the mornings at around 9 o'clock, and I'll go over the scores of the night from the previous night. If I have any stats, I'll go by it, and it's just a little fun thing that we like to do that so we don't just clutter up our page. All of the scores are on one thing. You can go back and watch it anytime you want to, and it's just fun to see the athletes get their name mentioned when I have the stats form and everything like that.
John, it was something we put together. We thought, maybe still like a sports center type deal where we're just giving out scores and stats and just something that won't clutter the pages so much. And Ryan does a really, really good job at it. And well, we've been having fun with it. I think it could go somewhere.
But before y'all go, I'll do my comment deal, my quote thing that I always do. It is I've always believed that if you put in the work, the results will come. That author is unknown.
I said that actually.
Oh, you're stealing John's quotes. Sue him.
Yeah.
Sue him.
Yeah,
Sue him.
yeah. We'd love a lawsuit down here. Go ahead.
And I tell you something else about food. Ryan was posting pictures of dinner that he cooked there the other night in their little chat group. Ain't that some kind of a lawsuit or something? No,
Where'd
that
he
ain't that
post it
some
at?
kind on their little chat group of ours. He this dinner he cooked. He fried some taters and
Well, apparently
well,
you can sue for anything, Mark. So yeah, go for it.
yeah, especially with Chef Boyar Ryan sitting there teasing us food all the time.
Yeah, knock that off, Ryan, or
Yeah.
I'll send a cease and desist after you.
uh,
Hey,
Edward,
I am serious though on this all sports media. Okay, I want, and y'all better follow up with me. I want to rank every concession stand in the 13th next year for one of the for basketball probably because my schedule will allow more. But I want to rank every concession stand, and we're going to post our rankings right here on all sports media.
so that mean that we have to go and hit every concession stands and
That
eat
means
at them?
me personally gets to go and hit every concession stand. And I'm just gonna tell you, I'm gonna be biased to Redbird off the rip. So they already get like 3 points just for like a home court advantage. So you're gonna have to overcome Redbird's 3 point home court advantage before anything else. I'm just gonna be blunt with y'all. Other than that, I'm a free agent. If anybody wants to slide some extra cash under to get your rank higher for your ranking, you just let me know.
Well, I know I was at Williamsburg High School one night, and they was like serving these like pulled pork nachos with the
Uh-oh.
cheese. Yeah, yeah, it was.
And I ain't gonna tell these schools when I'm showing up either, so they can't bring out the big guns. I'm gonna show up on a random. It may be a random Tuesday night when like Knox Central's playing like Cordy or somebody, and I may just roll up on the concession stand. You'll never know.
Yeah.
I'll go and tell you. The best one I've been to is OBI because they have
OBI
pretzels
is
in the
good.
concession stand.
OBI is good. I will second that. Actually, one time in high school, we actually left a kid because he was at the concession stand and didn't know we were got on the bus yet. So we had to go back and get him. Well, I'm not even making that up. That happened. That did happen. But they've got a good one. And then North Laurel's hot dogs are always like really good. Like those all beef hot dogs they sell at football. I don't know if they have them at basketball, but their hot dogs is really good at North Laurel football.
Well, Whitley County, they normally have them like $5 deals where you get like the hamburger and the chips
Ooh, I
and the
didn't know
can of
that.
pop. Yeah. I burn them up. I normally get about two of them during the football game.
I never get to eat because I'm always broadcasting, but during football, but definitely during basketball, I'm gonna go. We're gonna rank them all.
Yeah, whenever you get ready, we'll do that show. We'll make Edward or Ryan and make us one of them pretty little graphs of like a guy eating or
Yeah,
something like that.
put me on it. Shoving a burger in my mouth. Put me on it. I'm down.
Edward, any final thoughts on the preview, or just want to talk a little bit about your show, what you've been doing? I know you went the different route, and a lot of people's been asking me, "Hey, what was he doing?" So I know you've been a little different.
I have been a little different. The show that I kind of host actually showcases a lot of out of region and in region talent. And if I this Wednesday, I'm going to actually do my preseason baseball softball show, and I will be announcing the guest here real soon. But I am going to leave you with this: you have to be able to accept failure to get better. LeBron James.
He always has a LeBron James quote, John. I think he says LeBron's like the greatest of all
Who's
time.
saying I'm flexing my shoe collection back there?
I
Who said that? I don't see it on here.
don't see it either. Only Ryan's the
I
one
ain't
who
got
gets
no
to
place
see
to. I ain't got no place to put them. Where you want me to put them?
it. Ryan, who's posted that? I know you're able to see it. Ryan sees
It
all.
don't it don't
say.
show on that. It don't show.
I don't think I'm showing my baseball card collection here back here. I don't know.
That's
But,
a lot, though.
I'm a geek with that stuff. I love them. But John, I do thank you and for coming on tonight. And again, thank you behind the scenes, everything you did for us. And I know you're a very humble man, and I know you don't want the credit, but we're allowed to give you credit. But I do thank you for real for everything you have did for us because you've absolutely made us better. And without your help and Coach Shack and Robert and just all you down there, especially in the Pineville area and all and other areas too, has made us better. And personally, thank you for that. But any shout outs, John, before we cut out of here? Or anything you want to say?
Shout out. I got to shout out Chad Builder because I'm sure my phone is going to ring. 8:17, whatever time we get off here, he's probably going to hit me up. So if I don't give him a shout out, I hear about it. But for real, shout outs, like you're going back to talking about the Pineville people, man. They're phenomenal people. And if you're good to them, they're going to show you that same, as you guys see, they're going to show you that same respect that you give them. But the minute that they're slotted, they're going to let you hear about that too. And that's what I like about them is they'll go to bat for you. They'll have your back. And I got a bunch of people down there, man, that would go to battle for me in a snap of my finger. And I can't tell you how much that means to me to have a group like that that's always going to have my back, that's always that's always going to take my side. That's why I love working down there, and I hope that hope I'm down there for years to come.
Absolutely. But that being said, I want to leave you all with this. Teamwork makes the dream work. John Maxwell. From all of us at the Bryant Family Medicine, All Sports Media, good night and God bless.